Cheers to you, my friend. Welcome to the Cynthia Linox Show. I am your host, Cynthia Linox. Today, we're going to unpack another episode of the journey of self-discovery. And as I usually share, I really hope that you are discovering some interesting thing about yourself that is helping you in your growth, in your development, and in becoming your true, authentic self. That's the whole idea. We are going through this journey because we want to discover the truth about us, the truth about ourselves, because, there's power in that. When you come to a place where you know who you are, there is power in that. And once you discover that, you become unstoppable. So for those of you that are new to the show, I invite you to follow every week. This show is aired every Thursday, 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. And if you can't meet me at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time, you can stream it 24/7 right here. You see these icons, LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. You can link it again 24/7. So, but for those of you that are repeat viewers, welcome to you. And again, I trust that you are really learning some fantastic things about yourself, seeing opportunities and situations arise in your life, and that you're going after it. What I want to talk to you about today is about the comfort zone syndrome. I like to talk to you about things that I'm experiencing, because then it becomes relatable. And if I'm going through it, I know that, we're all alike when it comes to our human makeup. We all have emotions and feelings and all of that. So whether it's now, yesterday, or tomorrow, you will have experience of comfort zone syndrome. And sometimes, we don't even realize that we are in that place of comfort, that place where it appears to be safe. It appears to be comfortable. We don't want to go outside because of what? Because of fear of rejection, fear of anxiety, because of the unknown, fear of stress, and all of that. We want to really burst out. We want to bust that bubble and come out. First of all, we need to identify what is it that keeps us there. And I hear so many talk about this comfort zone. Of course, they don't label it that. As a matter of fact, today I heard this lady said something like, she was invited to go to this party, and it was a brand new situation surrounding people and so forth. And she got dressed. She was looking forward to going, and by the time she picked up her bag, and her keys to leave, she's like, you know what? Nah, she said, no, I don't feel like it. I don't want to be bothered. I don't feel like it. And she said she just turned around, undressed, took her makeup off, and she just sat on the couch with a bowl of popcorn and her remote. She said that was her comfort zone. Well, she didn't say her comfort zone, but she says, that's really what I wanted to do. I didn't want to be bothered. I didn't want to go out to meet new people. I didn't want to do any of that. And, sometimes we miss opportunities, and it all depends on what you want to do with your life. Nobody is forcing you. You're the one that decide what you want to do. But, and that's what, and I thought, wow, that's interesting. Now, if that's what brings her joy, then that is okay. If staying in a comfort zone brings you joy and peace and so forth, but you know what? Me personally, I want to regret-proof my life. I don't want to reach, a certain stage of my life, a certain chapter, and regret not having done things that my heart desires to do because of fear. That place of comfort is not a place. It seems like it's a comfort zone, but at the same time, we have these yearnings. We want to do things. We want to go places. We want to become something. We want to meet certain kind of people. We want to travel. We want to do a whole bunch of things, but we don't dare do it because we're in a place of comfort. We're in a place that makes us feel safe. That's what it is. It makes us feel safe. We don't want to go out and explore, experiment, discover. We don't want to do any of that because, again, it takes courage. And I realize that because, there's so many things, as I talk to you, I'm coming to you from a place of real, genuine, true, and authentic. The things I share with you are things that myself I experienced. As a matter of fact, I had some things, and I always share that it has to do with the chip in your mind, whatever you program your mind to think, to believe, and so forth is what is going to reflect, manifest, show up in your life. And there was this issue in my own personal life, not having to do with anyone else, no relative, no husband, no, just myself, that I needed some answers for that. Now, I didn't pay a lot of attention to it because it wasn't something like dire, that I needed to have done like right away, but I wanted to make some, I needed to discover some things. And every time I kind of went looking and looking and looking and looking, and it's been a while and nothing happens. And let me tell you something. For me, when I go within to check myself, because when I want answers, I go within myself and I ask, because the universe is waiting to deliver whatever it is that you desire, you request, you ask for, and things like that. So I and I said, why is it, why can I not, why am I not getting the answer? Why is it not coming? Because that's not like me. I have trained my mind in such a way that when I want something, when I desire something, when I go looking for something, it shows up. It shows up. And guess what? It was last week, 2 weeks ago, last week, the answer came. And what I realized is that my approach to the situation was with a closed mind. I, in my mind, kind of devised the way that it should show up. I did not broaden my borders, my perspective, my horizon to see beyond that. It would be something new and totally unrelated to how I perceive that it should arrive. My mind was locked in. My mind was set with a limiting set of belief. I believe it should arrive this way. I believe it, and nothing happened. And I'm telling you, this is like for months that I've been trying to get some answers for this situation. But I always lock myself in that it should be this way, that it should be that way, that it should arrive in such a way, or it should conform to the ideas that I devised in my own mind, how it should, based on things that I read and experiences that I've had and so forth. And until one day I sat down and I said, you know what? Something is not right, because my intuition, my psychic, my mind, my thinking skills, I choose to believe that they're sharpened. But then you have to work with the universe, and you have to really approach things, whatever it is, with an open mind, and allow for the new. That's the whole idea. Allow for the new. Because if you don't allow for the new, why even ask? If you arrive with a myopic view or perspective of what it should be. And the moment I said, that's it, I am open. Whatever is going to be is going to be. And one day I was just there. Could have been one morning, just meditating and just thinking. And it's like, and I'm like, well, let me try this, or let me do this. And guess what? Therein was the answer that I needed. It's fascinating, but I realized that it wasn't that the universe didn't want to deliver. It's me. My mind was so closed. My mind was boxed in relative to the situation that I was dealing with. My mind, my thoughts, it was so programmed to a certain specs that I expected things to arrive at these specs, and I wanted it this way and that way. There's always a better way. There is always better. That is in my mind, there's always someone better. There's always a better situation. There's always a better job, a better opportunity, a better house, a better travel experience. There is always room for better. And I did not allow myself to go there. I did not even think of it until one day I said, "No, wait a minute. This has been going on for too long. Me not getting answers to it." And I encourage you the same thing. I mean, I don't know what your situation is. Some people prefer to. I don't know. I meditate and I go within, because I know that within me all the answers reside. All the answers to the things that I want to know, all the things that I need to know, all the opportunities, all the situations, it lies within me. Some people, they choose to rely on prayer. And again, if that works for you, that's fine. But for me, I come to me, regardless of what it is, whether it's something physical, something emotional, something mental, psychological, social, whatever it is, I go within. Why? Because I've come to trust myself, my intuition, in the ability to know the answers, to deliver. And when I realized, and I really hadn't paid attention how long it had been since I've wanted to resolve this situation. And after a while, I thought, wait a minute, this is taking too long. Why is it? And I it's like having a dialogue with yourself, your thought process. And it's like, why am I not coming up with the solution, with the answer to what I needed? Something new, something. And the moment I sat and I thought, and I really got serious, it wasn't something that dire that, that I needed like right away, but it was, changes, because, I am always looking to make changes in my own life. I am always looking to grow, to develop, to expand my horizon, to grow, to burst out. I am always looking for that. So I know me in that respect. So I encourage you, whatever it is that you need, that you want, that you desire. And that's why it's so important for you to get to know yourself. Because once you know yourself, and if there is one thing, one person that will not betray you, it is yourself. It's you. You're not going to betray yourself. You're going to do what's best for you. So anyway, when I realized that it was me, I was the one that put the clamp on it. I was the one that hindered the growth, the innovation, the development, the development. I am the one. I was the one that was clamping things down and stifling results in my own life. And then it finally clicked, and and I am one happy camper. Do you have those days when you wake up and you're like, oh gosh, I just feeling my best today, and just everything just start going in the right direction and so forth. So I have had these days lately. Well, generally I do, but that I'm so consciously aware of that. And that's why, when I talk about comfort zone, I talk about that from a standpoint where I want to encourage you to pay attention to that. If you don't see anything moving in your life, know that that may be the case. You may be the case in a situation where you want to play it safe. And this whole journey of self-discovery is not a journey where you can play it safe. You've got to go out there. You've got to, and there's this element of fear which is not real. We have things in our mind. We're fear of being embarrassed. We're afraid of making a fool of ourselves. We're afraid of putting ourselves into positions that we may appear silly, stupid, whatever, ignorant, not knowing enough, not being savvy enough, not fitting in, and things of that nature. But then you need to break it down. As far as like fitting in, I've shared this before. You go where you are celebrated, not where you're tolerated. And it doesn't matter in what circle. You decide wherever you go and you feel that, oh, wow, this feels like a glove. I like you, you like me, and you have a good energy, good communication, and you feel at home. That's where you stay. That's where you stay. It's like, when you think of, there are a lot of people that are leaving the U.S. now and going to countries abroad. And when I see these group of people that are traveling to places like Asia and the Middle East and Latin America, not even knowing the language, to me, that's admirable because, it's like really putting yourself out there. Not knowing the language, not knowing the culture, hopefully they've studied that before they go, but that's a different story. But the point is that, it takes a certain level of courage to do that. That's not an easy thing to do, but for these people, those that made that decision, as a matter of fact, there are, I've seen or, read about, heard families that have taken all their kids, 3, 4 kids, wife and husband, and taken off to find dwelling in another land, another country with a totally different culture. That's pretty bold. See, I'm at a point that I would do that if I were, that's not our conversation, but my point is I've got that kind of courage to do that. So whatever it is that you want to do, that place of comfort, sometimes we don't even realize it, but it's stifling and it's stagnating and it's hindering. And whether it's, let's say, for instance, you've got some, because there's some people that have some physical situation that use sometimes as an excuse to say, well, I can't do this because I'm limited in this way and limited in that way and so forth. But it doesn't have to be that way. It does not have to be that way. If you have any kind of limitation, any kind of health, physical situation that you're dealing with, physician, heal thyself. I am telling you, get into the library and find out what it is that you need to heal yourself, because you can do it. You can do it. You can do it. And your words, once you grow in that sense of confidence where you trust the words that you speak, you can speak to the situation. You can speak to, whether it's, some people have issues with RA, rheumatoid arthritis. Speak to your joints. Speak to your joints. But first of all, you need to understand how it all works. As you detoxify your body and get rid of all the toxins and things of that nature, and start consuming food that heal. And that's basically fruits and vegetable, nuts, certain seeds, depending if you're not, have issues with seeds and so forth. Those are the things. And fasting. I'm telling you, you can heal yourself. I share that with you because health is wealth. If you're not healthy, you feel limited, but you can heal yourself. You need to know that. The body is so faithful. It tolerates a lot. It tolerates a lot, and it serves you well for many, 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 many years. But as we continue to feed it junk and that things that do not nourish and regenerate our cells, then of course, eventually they suffer decay. And even though the cells are they regenerate themselves and they rejuvenate themselves as well. But in order to do that, you have to detoxify. You have to get rid of the toxin, because if you continue to put, processed food, fast food, and different toxins in your body, then it's going to delay the process. But if you have issues, you speak, determine in your mind that you can, and you speak to your body, whether it's your joints or your vision, whatever it is, and you will see how, when you bring those things together, mainly fasting, when you allow your body to empty itself after, I think it's like 24 hours, your body go through this process of autophagy. And what that is when your cells really start, because there's no energy used in digesting food or anything. And then, of course, what I know, when I fast, I drink cucumber lemon water, which doesn't require any kind of digestion. So it doesn't interrupt the fast. But but flavored water is not part of it. It's either coffee. Again, look it up, because you need to look these things up. I did the research and discovered what works for me. But I want to make sure that you're well, that you are well enough so that you can live an abundant life. And that starts with your health. That starts with you feeling your best. That starts with you being able to get up and you have the energy. And if it's even going outside for a walk or whatever it is, that you have that kind of energy and to do the things that you want to do, and so that you can enjoy life the way you want to enjoy life, my friend. So come to a place where you can trust yourself, where you can really believe that you can, because when you start with believing, but then you come to a point that you know this work. You know this works, and you know it'll work for you. You know that you have the ability to influence the changes in your body. Once you find out what works, the foods to eat, what to avoid, when not to eat. There are some people that go on this OMAD eating pattern, and that's me. OMAD, what is it? OMAD, 1 meal a day. That works for me. Sometimes it doesn't happen that way. Well, most times it happened that way. When I say 1 meal a day, no snacks, sometimes I allow myself an eating window of 4 hours. You fast 20 hours and you eat within. All of this is for health. And again, that may be taking you out of your comfort zone, because sometimes comfort zone is living. I know, Michelle used to say, I live with pain every day. I've learned to live with pain every day. That was a coworker years ago, and she had some issues. She's no longer with us, but she had some issues, and for her it was just the norm. She says, "I have learned to live with pain," and even then, I didn't realize, I didn't understand that concept, because pain is very uncomfortable. But that became her comfort zone. That became her comfort zone, and she did the things she was able to do, but certain things she was not able to do, and she was okay with that. She fell into a place of comfort, and that was okay for her. She accepted that as her fate. Well, I'm telling you, my friend, you don't. You don't have to, whatever it is that is holding you back physically, speak to it. Come to that place where you can trust yourself, where you know that your words have power and that you have the power to create the things that you want in your life. And it starts with your health. And that place of comfort zone, you need to be out of that place of comfort zone. You need to be out of that place of comfort zone when it comes to your health. Don't settle. Don't settle. I was listening to a couple talk the other day, and they were saying something like, well, the husband was saying, oh yeah, we're gonna grow old and together, and we're gonna be able to sit on the porch, and I'll be in a wheelchair, and we'll have two nice wheelchairs, and we'll have a walker, and they were just, in their minds, they associated getting old with being incapacitated. We have been fed that for so long that a lot of people, uh, that's why they have this whole term, age-related disease, that we have been sold. And of course, that becomes profitable, because as you continue to mask your symptoms and to take medication that masks your symptoms, you really don't heal. You just masking and masking and masking. And after you've taken this medication for that many years, after a while it affects this organ, and then you take medication for that organ. It's just like so you have to get hold of what it is, what it means to you. What does that mean to you? Pay attention to that, my friend. Mentally, you start with that, and don't let your mind wander. Just get to a place. I read a lot. My husband is like, oh yeah, you're the one with the research. Why? Because I need to know. And when I learn it for myself, it becomes mine. So I'm saying to you, learn it for yourself. I'm just giving you a highlight, but you go and dig it up for yourself. Today, there is no reason. Years ago, my dad bought like World Encyclopedia. We had like a library at home with these fancy, nicely bound World Encyclopedia. And I think it's every 5 years, he was on this program where they would bring a new set. So we will take the old set and give it away, and then they would bring a new set, a new updated version. Why? Because there's so many new information that's available to us. Things have changed, scientific discoveries, and cultural changes and so forth. And so they would document it in a new set of encyclopedias, and so we would have a new set today. And those things cost a lot of money. I remember I didn't, I was too small to know about, how much, but I know that my dad, because he was on this program of having it renewed, he spent a lot of money just to have it for us. But imagine today, my friend, we don't need encyclopedias. All you need is access to some kind of a online link that would give you information, and there are many. You've got the library, and you have a lot of online possibilities where you can stay right in the comfort of your home and start looking for things and answers and information. And when you start doing that, what happens is that things are going to start coming to you. Information are going to start coming to you, and relative to what your search has been, anything that you have searched for. But and it's not just by algorithm; it's by the universe responding to you. And if you're not comfortable with that word universe, whatever it is that works for you, God, Buddha, Allah, Thor, whatever. I don't subscribe to any, I just say the universe simply because that works for me. And I believe that within me, I contain all of it. And as I go searching, the answers show up. Discover what works for you and do that and use that, whatever source that is, whatever you call it. But make sure it works. Don't settle. Don't accept. Don't be subdued and submit to just whatever situation. If you want answers, you have got to get answers. Don't take no for an answer. Don't take, well, wait, maybe, perhaps, I hope. No. If you need answers, you need answers. And make sure those answers come to you so that you can move on with your life. And again, that has to do with your health. For those of you that are dealing with situations, some people have terrible migraines. I don't want to go through any bunch of ailments, because there's so many situations that people are, that humans face, health-wise, whatever it is that you may be dealing with. And I don't know what took me on that. I guess it's because I was thinking of, a situation with someone lately, and and it's on my mind. But the interesting about it is that you really can't. What I know, I can share it with you, because this is my show. But to sit and talk to someone and tell them, do this, do that, that doesn't work, because people are, again, comfort zone syndrome is a place that appears to be safe, that really may be safe. I don't bother anybody. I don't try to stir up any dust. I don't do this. I don't do that. But then you're not growing. You're not developing. You're not. And, you may miss opportunities. And then comes a point, where you says, gosh, I wish I would have done this years ago. I wish I would have done that. But in order to regret-proof your life, you need to take the step. You need to get out of that place where you feel uncertain, or that, fear of failure. Like, what's failure? It's simply an opportunity to learn. I embarked on a project with, with some folks lately that I said to my husband, I said, what was I thinking? But I didn't go looking for any project. I stay open, and I always ask or allow the universe to bring. I always ask for opportunities, new situations, new experiences, something innovative, something new, so that I don't stay in a routine, because I hate routine. Because routine, there's no fun, there's no growth. And for me, the purpose of life is pleasure. And there can be no pleasure when you just have a routine, in and out, the same thing, in and out, over and over and over again. So I always allow myself to stay open, and ready. And and this opportunity came to me, and I was like, yeah. And after a while, I kind of took a step back, and I'm like, Cynthia, do you really want to do that? And, no was not even an option. That was not even an option. I thought, wow, this is new. This is innovative. And I allow myself to kind of move along with it. And I feel so fulfilled. I feel so lucky, so fortunate to be in this place that I am now. For me, it's a new chapter, but you have to lend yourself to that. You have to stay open. You can't lock yourself up. Am I afraid of failure? It never occurred to me because, like, what's failure? Like, if it doesn't work out, it simply doesn't work out. I would have learned something. But in the meantime, I'm gonna move forward. I'm gonna forge ahead with it. And I encourage you to do the same thing. Allow yourself to open up to new ideas. Allow yourself to put yourself in positions where you can grow. And don't be afraid. And for those of you that are still in the workforce, get a new perspective. If you like what you do, then that's great. Now you can change it up a little bit and make it more interesting and to get away from the routine, become creative, think of better ways to do whatever it is that you do. I was talking to Lynn the other day and we were talking about, everybody travels, the circle that I'm in, everybody travels. And she was saying that she wants to travel some more, but she's been busy at the office. She's an attorney and she's busy at the office. And then Susan asked her, said, well, when are you going to retire? And she says, I don't need to retire. She says, I may take over the firm, but right now I'm doing what I love. I'm doing what I love. And when, the senior partners retire, I may take over the firm, but I am doing what I love. She said, I may change up some things a little bit and do it differently, have some different modalities for the office and administrative processes and change some things. But I am happy doing what I'm doing. And she made that clear. And it was funny because I said, I kind of chimed in and I said, well, no, you don't want to retire. You want to refire. She said, no, I'm refired right now. She shut me down. I thought that was so great. She says, I am refired right now because I love what I do. And that was clear. That was clear for her. But if you are facing the opposite where you're not sure, then you have the ability to create something, come up with an idea to better function in your job, make it more interesting, where you can get up in the morning looking forward to Monday morning and not looking forward just for Friday afternoon to say, I can't wait for the weekend to arrive. Got to make your life interesting and get out of that place of comfort. Whether it's in a relationship, you got to step it up a little bit. You got to step it up. You got to do some new things. You got to make it fresh. I am just realizing, this is our anniversary month, and it's, we celebrate the whole month. Everything that we do, we call it a celebration. That's just our thing. And but the more I talk with people that's been married, even sometimes less amount of years than us, and their story is, in most cases, it's so different. Marriage is hard. Marriage is a one-way street. Men just want a maid, and just a whole thing like on the negative side. And I kind of wonder about that because that is not our complaint. And it's not that we are perfect, not at all. We have, issues just like everyone else, but the way you look at it. And I always think, what was it that attracted me to my husband when we first met? What was it that I always go back to that place. When I am mad as hell about something, I'm usually the one that if I don't like something, whatever but the qualities that he had, like integrity and values and character and all that, he still has those. And I'm still attracted to him because of that. And of course, the way he treats me. But we are always And one of the things that I love about my husband is that he lends himself to that. He is there for the adventure, the newness. I would say, let's do this, or he would say, oh, let's do that. And we would have like new things together to go and explore and to do, and just things that we want to do to keep it fresh. And I guess that has to do with being aware and being mindful, living intentionally, because to fall into a routine, after a while it gets boring. It's like, one of my, anyway, someone said to me, they said, I'm just bored. A situation, that I was talking to one, and they said, I am bored out of my mind. I cannot even relate to that, because the moments that I have alone by myself, I enjoy those moments. I treasure those moments because I like me. I've come to a place where I can really appreciate my aloneness. And then when my husband comes home, then of course I'm happy to see him. But I am so fascinated with myself when I sit with my thoughts and write and all those things, that I enjoy that. So I don't know what it is to be bored. And then, we plan things, to do things, and just the whole energy of planning, that alone is fascinating. That alone is fascinating. So whatever it is, don't get to that place of comfort, my friend, where you are so comfortable that your life becomes repetitive, and you think, why bother? At this stage of my life, why bother? Every moment, a new chapter begins. You can start a new chapter right now by deciding whether, if it's a health situation, I'm going to start this right now, and I'm going to see myself being able to do whatever, or free from whatever ailment that I have. You can start that right now. But it all goes back with knowing who you are. That's why this, I talk about a journey of self-discovery. It is so important. Everyone, I am so cognizant of this, that when I listen to people talk, you kind of know where they're at, because not everyone is open to a journey. You don't have to make it public, but that journey of finding out who you are, what you like, what you don't like, setting boundaries, what are your values, your standard, knowing your worth, and all of that, knowing your worth. To my single friends out there, today I heard this guy, and I don't know where he came from, and he was saying, do you want to, let's see here. He said something like, do you want a man to like choose you and stay with you, become a woman that is no hassle, no problem, no situation to deal with. And he was saying that if you guys have an affair to go to tonight, and he calls and says, well, I got stuck at the office, I can't make it anymore, don't be bothered, have a glass of, a bottle of wine waiting, and when he comes home, he does that. And all of it had to do with, if a guy says this, don't be bothered, and so forth. And I said, wow, that's all great. But then I was thinking, well, so one must perform in order to attract a certain type of man or female. And I thought, wow, that's so strange, because he said, yeah, if you want a man to choose you, blah, blah. And he said that. I thought, I didn't spend too much time on that podcast, but anyway, that's what he was sharing. And I thought that's a life of performance. And that's what a lot of people do. They perform for others to like them. But when you know who you are, it's like I was, while we were listening, and I asked my husband, I said, what made you choose me? He said, because you had standards. You had standards that I liked. You are a woman of standards. And I think I've shared this before. I didn't even know those were standards. That's just the way I am. And, you could label it standards, but there are certain things that are a no-go for me, and there are certain things that I'm okay with. But I'm the one that set the guidelines when it comes to me. Set the guidelines, the standards, values, boundaries, all of that. But if you don't know who you are, then you try to please. You become a people pleaser, and people will have a tendency to use you if you do that. You can't allow yourself to get into that space where you allow people to just use you and no, that's not the way it works, because you have value. And the only way you're going to grow and know all that is when you get out of that, get out of that place of comfort. Just que será, and know your worth. Know who you are. Go back to that place where you can laugh and have fun, and you're not afraid to go out and skate. And you may skate and scratch, bruise your knees or something like that, but that's okay. Get up, put a little peroxide on it, and get right back out there. Get on the bike, do things, just really enjoy your life. This show is all about enjoying the pleasures of life, looking in the mirror, liking the person that you see, knowing the value of that person, knowing their worth, admiring that person, loving that person, being true to that person, yourself, respecting that person, and making sure that that person that's reflecting in the mirror also commands the respect of others. And you don't have to say that verbally. Your presence says that. When you walk into a room, you are present there. Amigos, it is fascinating. This whole journey is fascinating. It is absolutely fascinating. You don't want to become stagnant. You don't want to miss opportunities, because what happens is that, there are so many things out there for you that you don't know about. And you won't discover it until you allow yourself, until you open yourself to discover it, or whatever it is. You won't discover it until you allow yourself. Keep an open mind, remain curious. And that thing which you want to do, it is available for you to do it. Don't hesitate, don't vacillate. It all starts with a pattern of thinking, the way you think about yourself, the way you think about life, your attitude toward life itself. Your whole attitude. Those are things that you can govern yourself, your attitude, your responses, your behavior, your thoughts, the patterns, habits that you have, and all those things. The value of you, my friend, the value of you. And that does not call for comfort, because why? You are constantly evolving. You are, or at least you should be, you are evolving, with each day, each season, each chapter, you keep evolving. When I learn something new every single day. Every day I learn something new every day. Why? Because that's the way I've trained my mind. And the universe responds. Amigos, it is fascinating. This whole thing, when you get with yourself and you get to know the power that you possess, how dynamic of a person you are, and the ability to create your skills, your how it's governed by your thoughts and all of that. It's fascinating. You can have just about anything you want in life. You can live the life that you desire, and you will attract the people, situations, opportunities, circumstances. You will open the door for good things to happen to you. I do that. I allow, the way I have set it up is, sometimes when I see someone and I, perceive something, I will, take initiative and do whatever I need to do to bring a relationship together. If that's how I see it, that it's reciprocal and that, our dialogue resonate with each other and so forth. And I will take that initiative. But also I allow myself to be open. So when people reach out to me, you can sense that energy and you respond. They reach out and you respond. Why? Because that's the way things are developed and cultivated and nurtured, whether it's a new relationship or whatever it is. If it's especially if it's a new relationship, sometimes people have difficulty getting a relationship started because they're either afraid of rejection, afraid of not knowing what to say. But you see, when you know who you are and you are authentic in your dialogue, you will always know what to say. And sometimes you say nothing. You just pause and you say nothing. That's also a message. And you'll know when to do that. Amigos, this is fascinating. I know you know that because I'm just encouraging you today to not to fall into the comfort zone syndrome, because that's a place, it's like building a cell to die. That's what it is. Building a cell where, just going to a place where you will just die. Your dreams will die. Your aspirations will die. Your desires will die. Your wants will die. Your ideas will die. It will just die. Now, if that's okay with you, then, there's nothing you have to do. But the reason you are watching this show is because you want action. You want something else. You want to see changes in your own life. You want to arrive at that place where you are confident. You have the assertiveness and at the same time, the assurance that as you accept and you move forward, that there's no such thing as failure. We're the ones that define failure. If I embark to do something and it doesn't turn out, I learned something. But just the courage that I've had to embark on it, whatever journey that may be. This show, this whole TV thing, not TV, but streaming media, this just kind of came upon me. I went to this meeting, a networking meeting, and I met a professional expert that does training in this whole media. This person came well qualified with lots of experience, and it wasn't something that I was even thinking about. But after I heard, because I'm always spending time talking to people, encouraging people, and I do some public speaking as well, and so forth. And the way it was explained, the way she shared it, I thought, gosh, let me do that. So I sat there when at the end of the meeting, and I sat there and I wanted a one-on-one, more information about the program and how it works and all of that, the cost and all of that. And and she explained step by step. I thought it was fascinating. This was a Thursday. So I got home, and if you allow time to uh, to take residence between a desire and the motion to get moving, you'll kill your dreams right there, or you'll kill the opportunity right there. So this was a Thursday. Friday I thought about it. Saturday I says, wow, that's a lot of money for and then Sunday I'm like, do I really need that? Monday, was it Monday? Monday, I got a phone call from her. She didn't waste any time at all. She called me and she said, I remember we had this conversation, I was at whatever. And I was like, you know what? Yes, let's do it. We scheduled to start training on a Wednesday. And I did it. Paid for it and everything. And I don't regret it 1 minute. Why? Because I'm able to talk to you and to a vast amount of people throughout this show. And I love it. And I know that it's effective because of the things that I hear. I know that it's effective. So I'm happy that I'm able to reach a whole bunch of people through this streaming. Today, this is how you do it. So whatever it is that you have in mind, whatever it is that you desire, whatever it is that you want in life, don't stay in that place of comfort. Identify what areas are have become a comfort zone for you. Don't be like Michelle. Michelle said, "Oh, I've learned to live with pain. I'm in pain every day." And interestingly enough, she was not a chronic complainer. She was not a chronic complainer where he's like, "Oh, but no." She was not a chronic complainer. She learned to live with pain, but she didn't have to. See, when you don't know things, like ignorance. Ignorance is when you ignore the facts, the truth. And you should know that you are you are able to heal yourself if you have any kind of physical ailment. Now, it may be hard for you to believe that. It may be difficult for you to believe that. But once you get going, you will come to a place where you know that you can, and you will get into motion. And it's not just saying and speaking and no. Learn the whole thing, how your body works, the food that heals, the ability to fast. If you can't fast, what you do in lieu of that, what, the benefits of fruits and how it cleanses your body and all of that. Learn what works for you and do that. And that's for your physical being. And the other things, whether it's social, psychological, or whatever, again, don't allow yourself to remain in that place of comfort. Don't allow yourself to remain in that place of comfort. There's no growth there. You will not develop. You will not learn anything new. It's a place of decline. Drip, 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 decline. I'm going to leave you with that, my friend. I'm going to leave you with that thought so that you can sup on it. Every Thursday, we meet right here at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. And if you can't keep that date with me, then these icons here, Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube, you can pick up the show 24/7. And if you need to drop me a note, go to info@thecynthialinoxshow.com And I am also a life coach. If you need someone to walk along with you, alongside with you, and help you in your journey, I am that person. I also offer a 30-minute complimentary session so that we can determine uh, if there's a good fit, and then we move forward with that. In the meantime, you have a fantastic weekend that's coming up. Whatever you plan to do, make sure that it's something fun, and same time, same place.